The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson in 25 minutes. Let's go. Chapter 1. Don't try. In today's world, there's a pervasive drive towards positive thinking and relentless self-improvement. This constant focus on what we lack makes us feel unhappy and not good enough. But real happiness and success don't come from always wanting more. Instead, they come from understanding what's really important and giving our attention and effort to those things. The feedback loop from hell. Our brains can get stuck in a tricky cycle where worrying about something makes us even more worried. For example, feeling nervous and then getting upset about feeling nervous, which only makes things worse. The same goes for getting mad about small stuff, then getting even more upset because you're mad, making the anger even stronger. There is also the backward law. Striving for happiness can paradoxically lead to unhappiness. Conversely, accepting life's discomforts can surprisingly result in positive outcomes. Constantly seeking more only reinforces a sense of lack, while embracing the present state can lead to genuine contentment. With the influence of social media, there's a pervasive belief that we must always be happy and successful. This chase for perfection often leaves us feeling dissatisfied and self-critical as we're constantly comparing ourselves to others. A healthier approach might involve placing less importance on unattainable ideals or the opinions of others. Instead, focusing on what truly matters to us personally, accepting our negative emotions, and learning to deal with them. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Not giving a fuck is not about having no emotions or caring about nothing. The following 3 subtlety help defining not giving a fuck better. Subtlety 1. It's about being okay with being different. Being indifferent is easy and often a mask for hiding fears or insecurities. Truly not giving a fuck means you're comfortable with who you are, quirks and all, and you're not swayed by others' opinions or judgments. Subtlety 2. To truly not worry about the small stuff, you need to care deeply about something bigger. Life throws all kinds of stuff at us, but when we focus on what's genuinely important, like our passions, the people we love, or our core values, the small annoyances or obstacles don't get to us as much. It's about prioritizing what really matters. Subtlety 3. We're always choosing what to give our energy to, whether we realize it or not. As we grow up, we learn that not everything deserves our full attention or reaction. With experience, we start to pick our battles and dedicate our efforts to what truly impacts our lives for the better. So Mark, what the fuck is the point of this book anyway? This book teaches that it's perfectly okay for life to be tough sometimes and teaches us to wisely invest our energy in what truly matters. By accepting suffering and flaws as inevitable parts of life, it guides us towards a form of practical enlightenment that makes us stronger and more resilient. Chapter 2. Happiness is a problem. A prince started out surrounded by wealth and comfort but still felt empty. Then he gave up everything to live simply, hoping for happiness, but found that didn't work either. Eventually, he realized life naturally comes with ups and downs. True happiness isn't about running from pain or seeking pleasure, but about accepting that challenges are part of life and learning how to deal with them. This prince is known as Buddha. The Misadventures of Disappointment Panda. Disappointment Panda, a superhero whose power is dishing out the harsh truths we all need but don't want to hear. This panda wanders, dropping bombs of wisdom like wealth won't automatically bring your kids affection, or questioning your spouse's trust usually means you've already lost it. It's a stark reminder that life's greatest lessons are often the ones we resist the most. Suffering is a fundamental part of life and evolution. We're hardwired to be perpetually dissatisfied because it pushes us to innovate, strive, and survive. Just like a stubbed toe teaches us to watch where we're going, heartache from rejection or failure guides us to better decisions. Happiness comes from solving problems. Problems are a staple of life, swapping out or evolving as we find solutions, such as the new challenges that arise from joining a gym or setting aside a date night. Happiness stems from tackling these problems, not from the absence of them, indicating that happiness is an active pursuit rather than a passive state. Denying problems or adopting a victim mentality only leads to temporary relief, often resulting in long-term dissatisfaction and emotional turmoil. True contentment comes from recognizing and solving life's challenges, not from avoiding them or seeking temporary highs to escape. Emotions are overrated. Emotions serve the simple purpose of guiding us towards survival and reproduction by signaling what's likely good or bad for us. Negative emotions motivate us to address problems, while positive ones reward us for overcoming these challenges. However, relying solely on emotions for decision-making can be as misguided as ignoring them entirely. Choose your struggle. It's not the good times that define what we want from life, but the challenges we're ready to face. Asking ourselves what difficulties we're willing to go through tells us more about our true desires than simply listing our dreams. True happiness isn't about dodging every problem, it's about picking the problems we feel are worth solving. Chapter 3. You are not special. Jimmy was a guy who always talked big about his latest business ideas, claiming he was on the brink of making it big while living off others and hardly putting in any real effort. His story exemplifies the danger of the self-esteem movement that focused on feeling good about oneself without the achievements to back it up. True self-worth comes from facing and growing through our challenges, not from deluding ourselves into believing we're doing great when we're not. Entitlement, or feeling deserving of success without the work, leads to a shallow life, constantly seeking validation. Things fall apart. True self-esteem should be built on facing and overcoming challenges, not avoiding them or living in denial. Jimmy's story warns against the entitlement mentality, which can manifest as either believing oneself to be uniquely superior or uniquely inferior, highlighting that recognizing the commonality of our struggles is crucial for personal growth and overcoming life's challenges. The tyranny of exceptionalism. In our world, being average is the norm for most aspects of life, yet the extremes of human experience dominate our attention through media, making us feel inadequate by comparison. This constant exposure to exceptionalism feeds into a culture of entitlement, driving us to seek validation through extreme means or superficial achievements. The real issue arises from unrealistic expectations set by a barrage of extraordinary information, leading to widespread insecurity and dissatisfaction. As technology amplifies these feelings by showcasing the best and worst without the mundane reality most of us live in, it creates a cycle where we feel pressured to be more than what we are, neglecting the value in being average. But if I'm not going to be special or extraordinary, what's the point? Our culture champions the idea that we're all meant to be extraordinary, creating a paradox where being average is seen as failure. This mindset is not only dangerous but also overlooks the truth that greatness arises from a commitment to improvement, not from a belief in inherent superiority. Embracing the mundane aspects of life, recognizing the value in the ordinary and the power of personal growth over seeking exceptionalism, can lead to genuine fulfillment. Acknowledging and appreciating the ordinary allows us to focus on what truly matters, like relationships, creativity, and kindness, rather than constantly striving for unattainable perfection. Chapter 4. The Value of Suffering. Lieutenant Hiro Onoda's refusal to surrender during and after World War II, continuing guerrilla warfare for nearly 30 years in the Philippines, exemplifies extreme dedication to a cause. Despite clear evidence the war had ended, Onoda chose to suffer under the belief he was serving his country, demonstrating how the significance we attach to our suffering can shape our endurance and perspective on life. Ultimately, Onoda's return to a changed Japan reveals the deeper tragedy of realizing one's sacrifices may have been for a cause that no longer exists, highlighting the importance of understanding the meaning behind our suffering. The self-awareness onion. Self-awareness involves peeling back layers from recognizing our emotions to understanding the values driving those emotions. This deep introspection can reveal that our distress often stems from flawed values or unrealistic standards we've set for ourselves. True self-awareness comes from confronting these truths, accepting them, and choosing values that lead to genuine fulfillment, helping us to address our problems more effectively. Rockstar problems. The stories of Dave Mustaine and Pete Best highlight the profound impact of how we measure success and failure based on our values. Mustaine, despite founding a successful band, Megadeth, after being fired from Metallica, still viewed himself as a failure because he measured his success relative to Metallica's. In contrast, Pete Best, who was replaced by Ringo Starr and the Beatles just before they skyrocketed to fame, found contentment in a life defined by values other than fame and success, such as family and personal happiness. Shitty values. Prioritizing values like pleasure, material success, always being right, and constant positivity can lead to unsolvable problems and ultimately dissatisfaction. Pleasure, while enjoyable, is fleeting and can lead to a cycle of addiction and superficiality. Material success doesn't guarantee happiness and can foster a shallow and self-centered existence. Insisting on always being right inhibits personal growth and learning, as it closes off openness to new information and perspectives. Overemphasizing positivity can deny the reality of life's challenges and prevent genuine problem-solving. True fulfillment comes from engaging with life's difficulties, not from avoiding them. Defining good and bad values. Good values are reality-based, socially constructive, and immediately controllable. Bad values are superstitious, socially destructive, and not immediate or controllable. While values like honesty are directly under our control, reflect reality, and benefit others, values like popularity depend on external factors and often lack a basis in reality. Good values lead to solvable problems and enhance well-being, whereas bad values create insurmountable problems and detract from life quality. Chapter 5. You are always choosing. Taking responsibility for our problems is the first step towards solving them. Even when situations seem forced upon us, changing our perspective to see them as challenges we've chosen can transform our experience. It's not the circumstances that define our happiness or misery, but our reaction to them. The choice. William James's transformation from a life marked by failure and illness into one of the most influential intellectuals of his time illustrates a powerful principle, taking absolute responsibility for our lives. Despite facing seemingly insurmountable challenges, James's decision to assume full responsibility for his circumstances and actively strive for change propelled him from the depths of despair to remarkable achievements. This story underscores that while we can't control every aspect of our lives, we always have the power to choose how we interpret and respond to our experiences. The responsibility fault fallacy. Fault and responsibility often get confused, but here's the quick take: fault is looking back and blaming, while responsibility is about what you do next. It's easy to get stuck blaming things on others, or even yourself for stuff that's not really in your control, but that doesn't fix anything. Taking responsibility means dealing with what's in front of you, making the best of it, and moving forward. Responding to tragedy. Imagine facing a tragic event, a robbery, an accident, or, like Malala Yousafzai, being shot simply for going to school. It's clear you're not at fault for these events. Yet, the aftermath, how you react and recover, that's your responsibility. How you handle the pain, the anger, or the fear afterward, that's on you. You can't control what happened, but you can control what you do next. Malala chose to keep speaking out, turning a tragic event into powerful advocacy. Genetics and the hand we're dealt. Teenagers with OCD learned through therapy that although they didn't choose their disorder, they could choose how to live with it. This shift in perspective allowed them to take control of their lives. Similarly, whether facing a personal tragedy, everyday hurdles, or the burden of our genetics, it's not about who's to blame. It's about understanding that we always have a choice in how we deal with our problems, and that choice defines our lives. Victimhood chic. Blaming others for our problems gives a temporary boost, creating a sense of moral superiority. This trend, amplified by social media, promotes a culture where everyone feels victimized, overshadowing real issues and victims. Known as outrage porn, this cycle is fueled by media focusing on trivial offenses to provoke public anger, diverting attention from significant societal challenges. We should emphasize honesty, transparency, and openness to doubt, rather than insisting on being right or seeking revenge. There is no how. Changing your values and what you care about requires a shift in perspective, consciously choosing different priorities. It involves enduring feelings of uncertainty, perceiving oneself as a failure, and experiencing rejections from others due to changing priorities. These discomforts are signs of significant personal growth, as they indicate a move towards values that are more meaningful and aligned with one's true self. Chapter 6. You're wrong about everything, but so am I. Recognizing that being certain often hinders growth, it's valuable to embrace doubt and the possibility of being wrong. This openness to being incorrect is not about seeking failure, but about acknowledging that growth comes from confronting and revising our misunderstandings. Embracing the uncertainty in our beliefs and values allows us to grow and evolve, moving from being less wrong to, hopefully, one day being right. Architects of our own beliefs. People are adept at creating beliefs and meanings from their experiences, even when these beliefs are based on random or unrelated events. Our brains naturally seek to establish connections and create meaning, but this process is flawed, leading to misconceptions and biases. We cling to our interpretations, often ignoring evidence that contradicts them. This highlights a fundamental truth. Our understanding and beliefs are shaped by the inherent inaccuracies of our brains, making most of our beliefs, in some sense, wrong. Be careful what you believe. When it comes to our beliefs and memories, we often think we're pretty accurate. But experiments and psychological research show that our minds are really good at making up stories, especially when trying to find patterns or make sense of our experiences. Our brains aim to make our current experiences fit with our past beliefs, even if it means twisting or inventing memories. This process can lead to something called false memory syndrome. It turns out, trusting ourselves less and questioning our motivations and beliefs more might actually be a path to better understanding and progress, given how flawed our perception can be. The dangers of pure certainty. Erin, a woman Mark once briefly dated, believed they were destined to eradicate death together. Despite Mark's efforts to distance himself, Erin pursued him relentlessly, convinced of their unique bond and her mission. She resorted to extreme measures, like creating fake online profiles and sending Mark countless emails, trying to sway him to support their cause. This story reflects on the dangers of unwavering belief, showing how excessive certainty in one's convictions can lead to harmful actions. Manson's law of avoidance. Manson's law of avoidance suggests that the more something threatens our identity, the more we tend to avoid it. By recognizing and facing the things that make us uncomfortable, we're more likely to break through self-imposed limitations and evolve our identities in positive ways. Kill yourself. Buddhism suggests ditching the self-concept to free up your life. Admitting flaws like, maybe I'm not great at relationships, can open doors to growth and change. Recognizing your problems aren't unique or special can be liberating, encouraging you to live more genuinely. Trying to maintain a unique identity only isolates you further. Embrace being ordinary and measure yourself by simple standards, like being a good friend or learner. This shift may be tough, but it ultimately brings clarity and freedom. How to be a little less certain of yourself. Start by asking you the following questions. What if I'm wrong? What would it mean if I were wrong? Would being wrong create a better or worse problem than my current problem for both myself and others? By thoughtfully engaging with these questions, we challenge the tendency to avoid difficult truths and learn that being wrong isn't that bad at all. Chapter 7. Failure is the way forward. Start seeing potential failure not as a loss but as an opportunity for growth. We have to redefine success and failure based on personal values, as fear of failure often stems from misaligned societal expectations rather than true personal aspirations. The failure-success paradox. Improvement and success come from countless attempts and failures, not just from innate talent or quick work. Instead, we should focus on process-oriented values like honesty and continuous improvement. Picasso's lifelong commitment to his art, driven by the value of honest expression rather than external metrics of success, exemplifies this approach. Pain is part of the process. Soldiers fighting in World War II felt that they became better and happier afterwards. They learned to appreciate life more and became stronger inside. This exemplifies that tough times can make us grow and become more resilient. Facing and dealing with tough feelings or situations is part of growing up. Life is full of unknowns, and doing things despite not being sure about them is what helps us move forward and grow. The do something principle. Often we wait for motivation to act, but the reverse can also be true. Action itself can generate the motivation and inspiration we need to continue. By setting the standard of success to simply taking action, any outcome is considered progress, which can free us from the fear of failure and propel us forward. Taking even the smallest step towards doing something can lead to significant changes and growth, making the act of doing a powerful catalyst for personal development. Chapter 8. The importance of saying no. The true essence of freedom lies not in the absence of constraints, but in the deliberate choice of where to place our commitments. It's in the depths of these chosen bonds, whether to a place, a person, or a cause, that we find meaningful liberty. The richest experiences often come from the places we decide to stay and the connections we dare to deepen. Rejection makes your life better. Rejection helps us figure out what's important in life. By saying no to things that don't match our values, we get to say yes to what really matters to us. This makes our lives better because we focus on what truly makes us happy. Learning to deal with rejection, whether we're giving it or getting it, teaches us to be honest and to build stronger relationships. Boundaries. In a healthy relationship, it's essential to maintain clear boundaries, meaning each person is accountable for their own issues while offering support to their partner. Problems arise when one person constantly plays the victim and the other tries to be the savior, creating a cycle of dependency rather than mutual growth. Real love involves respecting and accepting your partner for who they are, not trying to fix them. It's about mutual support without conditions, fostering a genuine connection that promotes individual and shared growth. How to build trust. Honesty and dealing with conflicts are key to a strong relationship. Simply trying to avoid upset feelings can actually do more harm than good. Trust is crucial in any relationship, and once it's broken, especially through actions like cheating, it's hard to rebuild. For trust to be restored, the person who broke it needs to truly understand and admit why they did it, then show they've changed over time. Think of trust like a china plate. If it breaks, you can fix it, but if it keeps breaking, eventually it can't be put back together. Freedom through commitment. When overwhelmed by too many options, we often end up feeling less satisfied, caught in the paradox of choice. Committing deeply to fewer things, whether relationships, career paths, or personal interests, allows us to experience the profound benefits of depth over breadth. Chapter 9. And then you die. Losing a close friend can be a stark reminder of life's fragility, prompting a reevaluation of one's priorities and actions. It can highlight how fear and inaction may lead to missed opportunities and a lack of fulfillment. This event can catalyze a transformation towards a more engaged and intentional life, where personal growth and meaningful experiences become central. The realization that life is finite can motivate us to overcome our fears, embrace change, and live with purpose, making the most of the time we have. Something beyond ourselves. Ernest Becker's insights in The Denial of Death pivot around two core ideas. Firstly, humans uniquely grasp their own mortality, igniting a deep-seated existential angst. This realization propels us to seek symbolic immortality through our achievements and values as a way to transcend our inevitable end. Becker later speculated if embracing our mortality, rather than chasing symbolic immortality, could lead to a more genuine existence. This acceptance invites us to face our deepest fears and reevaluate our life's focus, potentially guiding us towards a richer, more meaningful life. The sunny side of death. Confronting our mortality prompts us to question our values and the legacy we aim to create. It's a call to live more fully, letting the inevitability of death guide us to lead richer, more purposeful lives and subtly start to not giving a fuck. That's it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck in 24 Minutes. I highly recommend reading the book. You will find a link to it in the description. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts and experiences with the book in the comments.